The show started with a match between Apollo Crews versus Grayson Waller, and the result of this match was Grayson Waller wins by pinfall with the Rolling Thunder Ace Crusher and a rake of the eye. Then we saw Finn Balor rolls up on Braun Breaker in the locker room, and he said to Breaker that he's held the NXT Championship for more days than anyone and made it the industry standard for the best, and now it's Braun's job to uphold that lineage. He reminds Braun not to underestimate Tyler Bate and wishes him luck. Next we saw a match between Nile and Tatum Paxley versus Katana Chance and Caden Carter, and the result of this match was Katana Chance and Caden Carter won the match by pinfall with a 450 splash from Chance on Tatum Paxley. After the match, Doudrop and Nikki ASH confronted the champions, and they issued a challenge for the titles and shake hands, and we will see a match between Doudrop and Nikki ASH versus Katana Chance and Caden Carter at Worlds Collide for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship. The Schism comes to the ring, and Joe Gacy cuts a promo about how he took the Dyad under his wing and they will be rewarded for their victories. Gacy says he's reserved a seat for Cameron Grimes to join them. Cameron Grimes makes his entrance, and he said Joe's been asking him to join and he thinks he has an answer for them. The more he thinks about it, the more it truly just makes sense, and he doesn't need them. He clears the Dyad out of the ring, Joe hugs him, and the Dyad comes back in, but Gacy backs them off and a rattled Grimes bails. Then we saw a mixed tag team match between Briggs and Jensen and Fallon Henley versus Lash Legend and Pretty Deadly, and the result of this match was Lash Legend and Pretty Deadly won the match by pinfall with an O'Connor roll from Elton Prince on Brooks Jensen. Then we saw that Mandy Rose is on the phone in the locker room when Shayna Baszler rolled up, and Baszler says she'll be surprised if Mandy's title reign makes it past Worlds Collide and says Liv Morgan's only choice is which limb gets torn from which. She tells Mandy she better unify the titles for the brand and for herself, or everything she said for the past year is garbage. Then we saw a match between Andre Chase versus Charlie Dempsey, and the result of this match was Andre Chase won the match by pinfall with a victory roll pin. Back from the commercial, Tyler Bate runs into Gunther, and Gunther says he's here to remind him of the legacy of the NXT UK Championship, of which he is the longest reign, and he tells Tyler that he must beat Braun Breaker. Then we saw a match between Kiana James versus Zoe Stark, and the result of this match was Zoe Stark won the match by pinfall with the flipping facebreaker. Post-match, Nikita Lyons attacks James, but she manages to get away and dodge a big kick. Blair Davenport is interviewed backstage, and she says NXT UK and NXT were both built off their women's divisions, but none of those women ever did what she's going to do on Sunday, which is unify the two titles. Rhea Ripley rolls up, and she says she built both brands and made them hers, and on Sunday, Blair has the opportunity to make history. She looks confident, don't screw it up. Then we saw a match between Diamond Mine, Brutus Creed, Damon Kemp, and Julius Creed versus Gallus, Joe Coffey, Mark Coffey, and Wolfgang, and the result of this match was Gallus won the match by pinfall with a discus lariat from Joe Coffey on Damon Kemp. Post-match, Pretty Deadly and Briggs and Jensen come down and we have a big OL tag team brawl as referees and security swarm to try and break it up. The locker room empties, it's a real Pier 6. Braun Breaker is backstage when Tommaso Ciampa rolls up and sets a chair next to him for a chat. He says nothing is more important to him than the time he spent with Goldie, and he asks to hold her. He says there's a certain responsibility to holding her, a certain passion she embodies. NXT means the world to him, but it's Braun's world now, and at Worlds Collide, he can make history. Then Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams come down and get on the mic, and Hayes says he's trying to figure out how they're gonna keep the best champion off of Worlds Collide. All this talk of unifying titles, he did that 8 months ago. He's the greatest North American champion of all time. They tried to tell him this is a secondary title, but he's never secondary to anyone. The lights go out, and we saw the return of Ricochet. Ricochet congratulates him on his success but says nobody remembers any of Carmelo's title defenses, so he figured he'd come down and give him a memorable one and win the title in the process. He runs Trick off and hits recoil on Carmelo before picking the title up and holding it high, and the show goes off air.